All right, we're going to go over the Unit 6 assessment. So the first question asked, which scatter plot does not suggest a linear relationship? So we're looking for a trend line to not be a straight line. So right here we have a straight line of data. Here I have a curve that's not linear, and my last one is linear as well, follows a line. So the correct answer for a nonlinear relationship would be C with the curve there. Number 2, which scatter plot suggests a linear relationship between x and y? So now we're looking for a line. Here we have no association. Here again we have a curve. J is a curve. And then H is the only linear, the data forms a line. So that's the only one that suggests a linear relationship, H. Number 3, Matt collected data from a group of 12 people. He measured each person's resting heart rate and recorded the average number of hours each person exercised per week. He created a scatter plot to show the data he collected. It says, based on the scatter plot, what is the best prediction of the resting heart rate in beats per minute of a person who exercises on average of 9 hours each week? So there were 2 things I needed to do here. I needed to draw my trend line, and then I needed to identify where 9 hours is on my coordinate plane here. So I found 9 hours right here, and then I went up and found out where that met the trend line. Then I could just follow that over and find that it was 40 beats per minute. So A, 40 beats per minute is the correct answer. Number 4, the scatter plot shows the average number of hours each of 13 people spend at work every week and the average number of hours each of them spends on recreational activities. So we've got hours of work. So we've got work hours, and then I've got recreation hours. Based on the scatter plot, what is the best prediction of the average number of hours a person spends at work? So this is what we got to find, our unknown. If that person spends an average of 10 hours on recreation, so 10 hours on recreation. Then I can just come over here and see where 10 hours on recreation, it's our trend line that we've drawn, and I go straight down. There's not a line there, but I can follow that straight down. And if you can't, use a straight edge, a ruler. And that comes between 60 and 70, which is 65. So 65 hours would be the correct answer choice, 65 hours. Number 5, the manager of a restaurant recorded how many people were in different groups of customers and how much those groups spent on food and beverages. The scatter plot below shows the data she recorded. All right, so based on the scatter plot, about how much money would a group of 10 people be expected to spend on food and beverages at this restaurant? So again, the very first thing I did was drew my trend line. And then from there, I needed to find 10 people, so I've identified where 10 people are, and I've followed that up to the trend line to determine how much money was spent. But I also plotted all my options here to identify where they are in respect to our data there. So 100, that's definitely, I mean, we'd have to curve to get to there. 110 is just a little bit further up and it's still not following my data. 150 is way above it. And then where my trend line is, that's at my approximately 135. So the correct answer would be 135. Number 6, the scatter plot shows the number of hours that 12 people spent learning to type on a keyboard and each person's average typing speed. Based on the scatter plot, what is the best prediction of the person's average typing speed in words per minute if the person has spent 70 hours learning to type? So again, we've got our trend line, and then we need to identify where 70 hours would be. Now, right here, we're stopping at 60 because it's going up by fives. And so I just estimated my lines here. You do not need to draw the lines in if you're able to kind of estimate that on your own, but I liked having the visual. So I've got the trend line, I've identified where 70 is, and then where it meets the trend line, and then I went over straight across to see where it hits, and it's right between 80 and 90, which would be 85. So 85 words per minute. Number 7, which scatter plot suggests a linear relationship between x and y? So we're looking for a line. Notice line for linear. Here I have a curve, not linear, another curve. Here I've got a line with my data, so C. And then here's another one. You could have either said no association or seeing a curve, but there's definitely not a linear relationship. So C is the correct answer for the linear relationship. Number 8, Coach Greg is ordering shirts for the basketball team. Coach pays a one-time fee of $28. She also pays $8 for each shirt order. Which function can be used to find C, the total amount the coach pays in dollars when K shirts are ordered? So we're using our slope-intercept form. What they've done here is they've just changed Y to C and X to K, but it follows the same pattern. And so I've identified our one-time fee is our y-intercept, or our B initial value. And then it's $8 for each shirt, so that's my slope. So I have C equals 8K plus 28, which is H. Number 9, which function is best represented by this graph? So remember to complete y equals mx plus b, we need the slope and the y-intercept. So the y-intercept, where the line, where our graph crosses our y-axis, right? Which is right here at 2. So b is 2. Then I needed to find my slope, which I used rise over run. And then I can rise 1, and then I ran 1, 2. This is my triangle here, right? So rise 1, run 2, my slope is 1/2. Y equals 1/2 x plus 2, and that is right here, option C. Number 10, Mr. Hobbs is renting a car for one day. The table below shows the total amount he will be charged for the car based on the number of miles he drives. So again, I'm working with my slope-intercept, so I need to identify my slope. And B, my y-intercept. To find my y-intercept, that's when x equals 0. And then for my slope, I need to do the change in y over the change in x. So that's what I did here. I found my change in x is 5. And for every 5 I go up in miles, I'm adding $1.50 or 1.5 to the charge. So I need to do 1.5 divided by 5 for my change in y over change in x. And when I divide that, I get 0.30. So this is my slope. And then all I needed to do was to subtract 5 to get to 0. So when I go down 5, I also need to go down on the y side, 1.5 or $1.50. So 21.50 subtract $1.50 is 20. So at 0, for 0 miles, I'm going to be charged 20, or Mr. Hobbs will be charged $20. So this is my y-intercept. So my equation is going to be C equals 0.30 m plus 20. And all they've done, this is the x and this is the y. F. Number 11. The daily attendance at a bowling alley was recorded for 15 days. The scatter plot shows the number of lanes rented each day and the number of people who bowled that day. Which statement is best supported by the scatter plot? All right, so I've shown that I have a linear positive, right? And I've got this little visual up here. Positive is going up from left to right, and negative is going down from left to right. Now I just sort of look at the options here. There is a nonlinear association. That would be a curve of some sort with my data, and that's not happening. There is a negative association between that would be going down, and we don't have that. C, there is a positive association between the number of lanes rented and the number of people who bowl. We do see that. And then the last one says there is no apparent association between the number of lanes. So there we would see our data would be all over the place, and we don't have that in the scatter plot. So the correct answer is C, we have a positive association. Number 12, Jennifer is saving $45 that she earned for deep cleaning the house. She earns $20 every week for doing chores, which she also saves. Which function can be used to find T, the amount of money Jennifer will have saved at the end of n weeks of doing chores? So I've written this in our traditional way, our y equals mx plus b, but then you can also write it as y equals or t equals, and this is my b value and this is my mx, and it's not going to matter which order they're in as long as you're paying attention to positives and negatives. So we have a b value, a one-time earning of $45, and a slope of $20 every single week. So looking here, I've got 20n plus 45, which is the same as 45 plus 20n, and H is correct. Please let me know if you have any questions on this. This stuff is going to be stuff you'll see next year in algebra. So we definitely want to hit hard. Everybody who's taken the test so far that I've seen has done really well. So hopefully that continues. Have a great day.